My name is Tomiko, and I have been living as a person with type 2 diabetes for 15 years. The first treatment is usually evaluating your diet. I took this to mean that I needed to see what I had done to cause my diabetes. As a Southern Black woman, my veggies are the stereotypical countrified versions. I love my meat and potatoes. It is hard to steer clear of the traditional meal of Southern upbringing. On one hand, my mom side-eyes my choices, while on the other, she's encouraging a second helping of a carb-heavy meal. Where I come from, food is a form of showing love and taking care of your people. Family gatherings aren't the same without a version of my grandma's mac and cheese or my mama's pound cake. Even though there aren't any foods that are off limits to a person with diabetes, I am supposed to evaluate and plan ahead, eating the offending items in limited quantities. Then, and now, I don't frequent the gym, but I am also not completely sedentary either. At the point of diagnosis, weight had started to become an issue. For the first time in my life, I had to think about food in an entirely different way and be deliberate about adding in exercise. It was very complicated for someone like me who has a love-hate relationship with food to adhere to the diabetic plate. I am and have always been a picky eater. I crave carbs and sugar, and despite knowing that these are not great choices, that does not stave off the cravings. I know what I should eat, but my taste buds just don't cooperate. Imagine the normal difficulties that come with traditional dieting for weight loss, only to add the stress that your diet affects how you feel and how your body functions. I found myself inadvertently competing and comparing my progress with others. As they were doing way better, I felt like a failure. My challenges with food made adapting my diet difficult, so success wasn't coming as easily for me. My treatment plan over the years continually added more and more medications and eventually led to insulin injections. That really made me feel like I was doing something wrong and was hopeless. Thankfully, I had a doctor that said the progression of the disease sometimes leads to needing insulin, and that is just how it goes sometimes. Of course, that isn't how everyone sees it. I've had friends threaten to send me pictures of amputations in an attempt to scare me straight, as if getting my A1C under control was merely willpower. Because of the raised eyebrows of well-meaning friends and family, I don't make it widely known that I have type 2 diabetes. I usually avoid telling coworkers until a near low incident makes it necessary for me to let someone know in case there is need for medical attention. I take my injections in private so as not to draw attention to myself. I try to place my CGM in a discreet location for the same reason. A lot of shame and blame and guilt comes with being a diabetic. I also don't check the box on applications that asks to identify any disabilities. I was surprised the first time I saw diabetes listed. It seems like it's out of place. Regardless, I don't trust that I won't get judged or discriminated against, so I decline to answer, which in itself might be a red flag. Diabetes is also not a poor man's disease. Treatments are expensive, and I don't know how people manage. Thankfully, for the most part, I've had insurance that brings my cost to a more manageable number. However, there was a time when a layoff and loss of insurance put me in a situation where I couldn't afford my medications, and I had to ration what I was able to get. My A1C rose drastically, but there wasn't much I could do. Here I am a few years later, and I am still trying to wrangle my A1C to pre-underinsured times. Asking for help beyond just relying on faith was also new and not easy. However, having one has helped me manage burnout, depression, and other emotions. It opens up a safe space for sharing experiences, learning from others, and hearing about suggestions and alternatives that might or might not work. It is helpful in motivating me to make better choices and not to completely give up some of my Southern comforts. As a person with diabetes, I am working through the mental effects of this disease, feelings of weakness, disappointment, and the general day-to-day. I am grateful to have opportunities like this to shed light on what people think they know about living with diabetes and how it really is.